Our Old Testament lectionary reading for October the 11th comes from Exodus 32, 1 through 14. It is the story of the golden calf, when the people are worried because Moses is delayed. For this reason, I have extended the reading to include Exodus 24, 12, 16 through 18. So let me back up a minute and lead up to where we are now, because last week's lectionary study dealt with the Ten Commandments. And so God came down and covered Moses in a cloud and spoke the Ten Commandments. When Moses came down out of the cloud, the people were terrified. And they said that the glory of God was too much for them. If Moses would go and speak to God without God speaking to them in a cloud, if Moses would go up and talk to God, then they would do whatever God told them to do. And so the people distanced themselves, and elders of Israel, Moses and Aaron, went up, and God explained to them the laws concerning the altar, sacrifices, social and religious laws, the year of the sabbatical year, and the year of Sabbath. All of these things God explained to them concerning how they should behave, what certain feast times were, and things like that. Then Moses came down with the elders, explained everything to the people, and asked them if they would agree. And they said, yes, we agree with everything. Moses said, okay, I want to make sure, because we're going to do a blood covenant. Now, the idea of a blood covenant is you kill the animal. And the killing of the animal represents what each party agrees to if they break the covenant. And so whatever happens to that bull will happen to you if you break the covenant. And of course, the bull's throat is slit and they bleed and the bull dies. So therefore, they have made a blood oath, agreeing that if they break that covenant, then God is in God's full rights to kill them, and they should die. Then the Lord says, Moses, come up to me on the mountain and wait there. And I will give you the tablets of stone and the law and the commandments which I have written for their instruction. And Moses went up to the mountain, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai and covered it for 6 days. And on the seventh day, the Lord called to Moses. And Moses entered the cloud and went up to the mountains. And Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, as long as it took. And when Moses was up there, not only did the Lord give Moses the tablets and the commandments, but the Lord also described the Ark of the Covenant, where the tablets would be stored, and the entire setup of the tabernacle, where the Ark would be housed. And so there's a lengthy description between chapter 24 and chapter 32 about the tabernacle and how that would be stored. So Moses is gone for over a month. Was it exactly 40 days and 40 nights? That's always questionable, because the scriptures always say 40 days and 40 nights. Most scholars agree that 40 days and 40 nights means he was up there as long as it took. So how long did it rain in order for the world to flood? As long as it took, 40 days and 40 nights. How long was Jesus in the wilderness? Until his physical self was broken and the temptation of Satan actually tested him. As long as it took. 40 days, 40 nights. And so Moses was up there for a long time. Long enough that the people might have thought that Moses died They had seen the glory of God. They'd been terrified of God. And they didn't think they could survive. And so they definitely didn't think Moses could survive. So what happens? You shall not make any graven image. What do? They make a graven image. The Lord also tells them about how to make sacrifices and on what altar to make sacrifices, and that you shouldn't build any glorious altar, but rather a stone made of that just came from the earth, because God was the creator of all of earth. And what do? They melt down the gold and they form it into a mold and make it into a calf. And what is said is, these are your gods, not one God, but the gods of Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And Aaron built an altar before it and declared the festival to the Lord, where the Lord had already declared what festivals should occur and shouldn't occur. Basically, everything that they said they agreed to in the blood oath, they broke. And so, by all rights, God then tells Moses, I shall wipe them out and shall start over with you. At which point, Moses does a fascinating thing. He says, Lord, don't do that, because if you do that, then people will blame you. And you will get a bad name. So therefore, what needs to occur is I need to go down there and talk to them. I'll get rid of the bad apples. And verse 14 says, and the Lord changed his mind about the disaster he planned to bring on the people. This is a fascinating verse. It has a lot to say about those who talk about predestination and how everything is written in stone and destiny is written in stone. If the intercessory prayer of Moses can change God's mind, then the future is fluid. Prayer makes a difference. Prayer can change direction. Jesus can intercede on our behalf, even though what we have done in the past, even though what we may be doing now is sowing the seeds of our destruction. We can fall on the mercy of Jesus, and Jesus' intercession can change God's mind concerning our judgment. It is on this verse and this idea of intercession that so much of the New Testament rests. Even though there was a blood covenant, even though God was in all rights to punish and condemn the people, the intercessory of Moses changed God's mind. Jesus' intercession on our behalf, even though we broke covenant with him, changed God's mind. There's no need for an atonement. There's no need for a debt to be paid, because Jesus' intercession paid it. That is a powerful theological statement. And it comes back to what happened here.